Welcome to Nephew and Uncle Basketball Banter. Uncle Dave, the series between the Knicks and the 76ers is wrapped up, and the Knicks just basically had their way with the 76ers the whole series. Other than game two, the Knicks were dominating the whole time.
Brutal series from the NBA's TV ratings.
Yeah, it's a situation where obviously the league, I'm sure, would have loved that series to gone a little further. But I got to give the Knicks a ton of credit. You have two games that you missed with OG Anunoby in game three and games four. And the Knicks offensively just don't miss a beat. You didn't have Mitchell Robinson in game two. And I think the
Yep.
Knicks right now, they're hot when they absolutely need to be at their hottest. And they
Yeah.
just look like an 18-wheeler going downhill right now. You have, it just looks like they're just playing with incredible harmony offensively. You're getting great production out of Towns and Brunson. I mean, Bridges now, after kind of getting some shit from the media and some of the fans for some bad performances in the Atlanta series. He's looking good now, regardless of who they're playing. The Pistons or the Cavaliers, right now, they're favored in the odds as far as like the betting market goes right now to win the East. Obviously, they right now
Yeah.
are just clicking on all cylinders. And as far as Philadelphia goes, I think next year, the one dilemma they have, I don't really think you can have a better starting lineup than what they had this year. I think the only thing you could maybe add is more depth.
Got to move on from the big fella too. They can find someone to take some of that money, and they can pay some of it because someone will take that talent. They got to move on from him.
You think
You
so?
can't
Yeah.
go into every playoff. You can't go into every playoff series. I don't care how talented he is. The guy's never healthy.
Right.
Can't guard anybody anymore. He's just not a factor. They play so slow when he's on the floor. That team needs to be turned over to two people. Those two guards. Go get another one. They should never gave Jared McCain away. Obviously, something was strange there.
And oh, by the way,
He
you see him producing now with the Thunder now.
Yeah, absolutely. We called that one on this show again. But the Knicks dominated 22-point average victory, which is just absurd. 11 on the boards, 9 assists for the series difference. The Knicks just insane shooting percentage. He shot 54% for the series. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
They made nine out
Uh,
of their first 10 threes yesterday.
yeah.
I mean,
And then
just that's video game stuff.
and the funny thing is, if you look, the Sixers shoot 31% from three for the series. Not great, but not terrible. Knicks shoot 44% from three for the series. It's absurd.
Right.
Like those shooting numbers are historic. The Sixers just didn't play any defense. And again, you can see all you want about the big fella, Embiid, but it's time to move on from that. I mean, how many times are you going to walk into the playoffs and have a guy that can't play?
Well, Towns could
I mean,
just take him off the dribble every time, too.
exactly, and the
You
game
could
is
defend
the
it.
game has changed in that regard. So if you're going to be a zone team, I get it, but plus you don't Drummond I thought did a decent job, but geez, you got to have a mobile big.
He's not lateral enough either, though. You need a big guy who can
No,
move around more. Andre
yeah,
Drummond, back in his day, he could do it, but not no more.
yeah. This series is so disappointing for the Sixer fans not showing up, and you know what? I give Embiid credit for playing, but he's just not the same player anymore. I mean,
Plus,
here
the
he
Knicks
is.
fans are loving the Mitchell Robinson poster that's going around now.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, he averaged 5 rebounds a game, Embiid for the
This
series.
is the thing. The guy doesn't rebound the ball enough either. He's just too
No,
much of a statue.
no, and he's again he shot 50% for the series, so you got to give him that. But again, he's just he's getting 7 free throws, which he can still do. But he's just not that guy anymore. So talented, but again, he's great off the bench. He's a guy that if I was a championship team and I could afford him, I'd go get him to be a backup or something like that. But again, at that rate, no one's going to pay him to be a backup.
Or if you're the 76ers, maybe to get him to restructure his contract if you could do that, possibly.
Yeah, either that, or you got to get someone to take some of this money and you ship him out because the focus of this team needs to be going forward. That could be the best backcourt in the
That's the
world.
ultimatum I would give him. I'd be like, look, either restructure and you could stay here and still be a vital piece of this team, or we got to try to ship you out of here.
Right. Well, we got to get you out. And you know what? With this draft, I don't know whether they're going to pick, but there's still some talent there. I mean, you got to get a kid who can at least maybe play some four, who's mobile, or try to find a way to trade up and get Amara. I think this draft is going to have a lot more draft trades because of what the depth of this draft. So if they packaged an Embiid or someone for like a 14th or 15th pick, they could probably get something and, maybe pay some of the salary and maybe go out and get a kid like Amara, see if he can help you. Maybe he can't. Maybe he won't be good in the NBA, but we got to find out. This experiment isn't working. This guy never makes it out of the second round.
But the Knicks just have had different guys stepping up. I mean, you have Clarkson, Shamit contributing. You have Mitchell Robinson looking good off the bench. I just think the Knicks just right now are playing the best they've ever played all year.
Yeah. They're playing Karl Anthony Towns 7.5 assists in 4 games. I mean, they're letting him play at the high post. And again, like we've always talked about, you can pay a guy all you want, but that doesn't make him who he isn't. So maybe,
Jay Billis brought it up too. He says having him have the ball at the high post and being a facilitator and a playmaker is really having the Knicks really be productive offensively.
yeah. Well, we told you to, what John Calipari said. He said when he saw him first time in high school, he wasn't 7 feet, obviously, and he was playing point guard. Not that he's really a point guard handle, but at the high school level, he can get away with it. But he was
Yeah,
playing point guard, and he was, doing things. He was facilitating, and then he grew some more. He's
right.
not the first guy to do that. David Robinson grew late. Tom Gugliotta grew late. He's not the first guy to do that. So you got to have guys that you got to let him use his abilities, or else. And the key to this team, I hate to say it, is you know Bridges got off to great starts in these games. You get him an early dunk, he's a totally different player because he's not going to produce like this again. That's the one bad thing. And of course, OG, we got to watch. That's to me, like I said, he's their best two-way player. Got
Do
to
you
really
feel
watch.
like, obviously, let's just play a little devil's advocate here, regardless if it's Cleveland or Detroit next round, you think they absolutely need him in order to win?
Yes, if they get Cade Cunningham, they're going to need him. And if they get Cleveland, they're going to need him because of Harden and Spider. But plus, the hamstring. I hate to be a downer for Knick fans.
Never
OG's my
goes
favorite.
away, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it never goes away. They're going to have about 10 days off. You just worry about the first time he has to cut, and
If it goes, right.
goes. And the first time he has to laterally go. And you could be playing for a while, and all of a sudden you dehydrate. You can hydrate all you want. It's great that they have time off. The only thing that affects that is the shooting, maybe. But yeah, they're playing great. You can use Jose Alvarado if you saw Cleveland, but if you see Detroit, it's him and Hart rotating on Cade, and you can just wear Cade out between the two of them, just rotate a fresh body, and Bridges also. But so they're playing the best ball. Them and OKC are they look. The Knicks have a 7-game winning streak in the playoffs. You don't get 7-game winning streaks, so that's really impressive. Them and OKC hasn't lost a game yet.
It's the longest winning streak in the playoffs in Knicks history.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've been here for almost all of them, and none of them been like that.
Yeah,
They've
they
only
all
had they've only had a couple of sweeps in history.
right. Yeah, it's the first back-to-back conference finals appearance since 99 2000. It's the
Yep.
first 7-game series sweep since 1999. And they
Yep.
tied the most three-point field goals made in a game in NBA playoff history with 25 yesterday. And they broke their single-season franchise record for points in a playoff game, 144. So,
Yeah, just so impressive. What they're doing. I mean, there's not enough positives you could talk
right.
about.
So I guess all the chatter of we're bringing Mike Brown back next year or not, regardless of what happens in this next series, you have to, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's put a different spin on it. He's always played a little bit more guys at the same time. Really, it hasn't reduced injuries or anything else because OG certainly wasn't being overplayed. The Tibbs thing became a narrative because even when you looked at the facts, Tibbs guys weren't getting hurt any more than anybody else. But I agree with playing 9 or 10 guys. OKC has that formula. The Pacers have that formula from last year's run. It's something I believe in. The Knicks, I've said before, them and besides OKC, the Knicks are the second deepest team in the league. OKC being one. They just keep plugging in guys.
The 76ers feel like they're kind of again in that zone where it's going to be tough for them. Oh, by the way, next year you got the Pacers coming back in full force, you have to assume. So it's going to be
Yes, and
it's
and
the East is going to be a battle next year.
can't think that Orlando will be as bad. The Bulls obviously going to get a good pick, but we'll see. It's almost like I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining this, but I feel like every year it gets harder just to make the playoffs. With the level of talent that's out there and the amount of talent that's available, I just feel like even a team like the Charlotte Hornets, like they had a great year, but they're no lock for next year either.
Oh,
So
absolutely
like
not. No.
that's how tough it is. Like the Hornets are moving up, but you can just see that Jesus, somebody's going to get left out.
Yeah,
I mean, the
absolutely.
Bulls are going to get a lottery pick. Like I said, see what they do. The Wizards just, if they do it right, I wouldn't want my first pick around those idiots, but you just never know what you're going to get there. I mean, that's a team that's there's no guarantee that the Sixers make the playoffs. It's
Yeah, I mean,
so
or a team like the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, are they going to be
yeah,
a playoff team
yeah.
next year? I would say probably not.
Or even the Celtics with all this Jalen Brown stuff. Like, what's going to
Right.
happen here? The Hawks are going to the Hawks will improve, but who knows? I mean, you get an injury here or there for 15 games, and all of a sudden now you miss the playoffs. So that's why the playing game I think is a good thing. Because again, you could get a team hot. Teams have gone from the playing game and to make deep runs, and I think that the playing game for this league with this amount of talent, I think is a positive because I just think that there's such with the European players coming in and making such and the international players just coming in and making such an impact. I feel like there's just a depth of talent.
So you have the 76ers this year in the draft. They're pick number 22 in the first round this year.
Yeah. I mean, so you don't know. Like, you could trade up. I feel like there's going to be a lot of trading up because I feel like you can move up and get, like I've said it's 1,000 times, you can get a good pick at 20 this year. I really believe that.
I'll get you on record though, Uncle Dave. You were adamant that the 76ers should try to move on from Embiid.
Yes. If you want, you gotta look. What happens is, and I get this. There's two things. People hang on to their players too long sometimes. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me turn this off. Rosie.
We have a
being
dog
crazy.
disturbance, folks.
Yes. People hang on to their guys too long when they win sometimes, but you haven't won with this guy. Now, that's if you can get something for him. If you're going to pay if you can pay half the money and get something for him, I'll do it. But if I don't want to give him away either. But if someone's willing to take that money off you, you got to do it. I'm sorry. You have to move on. This guy's never going to be healthy. It's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. It happens.
I would really try to offer him and urge him to say, "Hey, look, let's work and try to cut your contract down, and we'll see if we can."
Because they had no depth. This team. We talked about this. But the first night I texted you, it was 7-0 at the end of the first quarter in bench points, and you look at the series bench points. You
The
got
Knicks
to have
clobbered
depth
them
in
in
this
that.
league.
Yeah,
Especially with the amount of load management we do in this league. You need to have depth, or else you're going to get stuck in the 44 to 38 win range, and you're never going to get out of playing in these tough spots. They beat Boston, but that's almost mirrors their problems. It almost hid their problems. So sometimes a win is always a good thing, but it just hid their problems.
yeah. I think the 76ers, you just have to try to get your team to be deeper because I think the starting lineup. I think if you run that back next year, let's say you can keep Embiid
Yeah,
hypothetically.
Oubre's good still. He still does some
Yeah,
good
and Paul
things.
George, even though he had 15
Yeah,
points in the first quarter
yeah,
in game 3 and then didn't score the rest of the quarters,
sure,
he's still a nice player even at his age.
sure,
So I would
sure.
try to keep him around. I think you just have to add a couple more guys off the bench because that starting rotation, that's a good lineup.
You got to get a third guard to go with those two other guards. You need that 3 guard rotation. You need that 3 small forward rotation. You need a couple of long, skinny guys to compete on the glass, and then you go. You already have, 3 or 4 pieces there. You got to go from there. You have to do it because you got to get away from the guy because it's never going to happen for you. And like I said, beating the Celtics is great. They hate each other, but at the same time, it just masked all your problems.
The Knicks, they definitely have a legitimate chance to go to the NBA Finals, I think, this year.
Yes, they should. They're the best team left in the East. I think the Cavs scare me more, even though the Cavs aren't as good as the Knicks. The Cavs have the 2 guys at the end of the game that can get their own shot. Now, Harden just sucks sometimes at the end of the game. But I just feel like Detroit can't score with the Knicks. I just feel like they can't. I just don't
Even
think
though
they're
the
going to.
even though the Knicks did not beat the Pistons in the regular season, you've been
That's
adamant,
correct.
have been about the regular season. You can
Yes.
take that with a grain of salt.
I think the Knicks just have too much scoring for them, whereas I feel like the Cavs, who don't defend, can score with anybody just because they got those 2 crazy guys at the end of the game there, and that makes a difference.
Timberwolves and the Spurs, Uncle Dave. So we have some interesting stuff going on here since we've last spoke. Victor
Yes, this is
Wembanyama
fun.
got thrown out in the second half of last night's game with an elbow to Naz Reid right in the chin
Yeah.
area. But let me just defend Victor Wembanyama for a second here. Mitch Johnson, by the way, after the game said that the refereeing on Wembanyama is disgusting. And just to give clarity to
It
people,
was on Shaq, too.
this is the thing with Wembanyama. He is getting roughed up big time for
So
sure.
I'll tell
There's
you, if anybody
definitely
doesn't know, go
there's
watch
def
Shaq.
there's definitely some Jordan rules here being applied to Wembanyama. You can see, and you know what? I don't blame the Timberwolves for doing it because that's how they have to play this guy to win. Because if you play him straight up, he's going to kill you. And
Yep.
what you just said, I think the league now they have an absolute dilemma on how do you officiate this guy because it's a different set of rules for him. There's no question because he's just a freak. You've never dealt with a guy at this height that's this skilled. It's just ridiculous. What do you
Yeah.
make of this of the him getting? And by the way, I just want to say this before I move on to you. There's no way they should suspend him for another game. We don't want to see that. I do not, at least.
Right. Well, it's funny. I knew once it was Wembanyama, they would never suspend him for another game because the NBA takes care of its stars. Let's be honest. This was Ron Artest. He's out for a game. It's not Ron Artest. A lot of people brought up Ron Artest today. Ron Artest would get suspended because Ron Artest isn't Victor Wembanyama. If we don't think that there's a standard in the league, I don't want him to get suspended either. But anybody else who isn't a star would be suspended. But that being said, the NBA was very smart, starting back with David Stern, Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird rolled on the ground and punched each other in the face for 2 minutes on tape. Nobody got suspended for another game, right? So they're not stupid enough to suspend Larry Bird, right? So they weren't stupid enough to suspend Victor Wembanyama, and I'm glad because it's better for the series. Victor Wembanyama, the one guy grabbed his leg, the other guy grabbed his arm. I don't blame him for getting pissed, but that's what they're going to do to this guy. He's the beanstalk. The
Yeah.
only thing they can do to him is stick him in the ribs because he's too long.
Yes.
So they have to chop him down like any other big tree. But go back and watch how bad Shaq got refereed. Vlade Divac could take out a gun and shoot Shaq. It might not have been a foul call. They used to jump on his back. It was unbelievable watching Shaq get refereed and not get called for fouls. It was unreal. Same thing's going to happen to this guy, except this guy's a different animal. You can knock him down. Shaq, you couldn't knock down. Shaq, you could climb on him. This guy, he's slight of build. But they have to do that to this guy.
I mean, his game 3 was maybe one of the best performances I ever saw. I mean, he had 39 points, 13 of 18 from the floor, 10 of 12 from the line. I mean, absolutely, and 15 rebounds. I mean, that's like a top 25 playoff performance.
It's a Will Chamberlain game.
Yeah,
the bad news for this guy is you have to hope he beats himself. And by beating him up, they're not just trying to beat him up. What they're trying to do when they beat him up in there is trying to get him to move further from the basket.
Yeah.
If you can get him to
the contact, right?
Yeah, if you can play him in the high post on the perimeter, you win. Now, he could still beat you from there, but at least it's not definite. You have him catching lobs and being in the dunker spot, the shit's over. Nobody can go up and get the ball with him. So the bottom line is, and Rudy Gobert's been great this playoff. It's been Rudy Gobert's best set of playoffs I've ever seen him play. But it's just the guy really is the alien.
The guy, he's got 4 inches on him. He's more athletic and he's younger, so it's hard.
Yeah, he's just an alien. So what they're going to do is they're going to encourage him not to come in there, right? And that's the bottom line. So I'm glad he didn't get suspended, but let's be honest, the NBA is very smart in this regard. They market their players very well, and they're not stupid. You cannot have this guy get thrown out of there.
Plus, there's a little bit of desperation on the Timberwolves. You're playing with an Anthony Edwards that's hurt. Yeah. You don't have Dante DiVincenzo, so you're already underhand. So you're like, all right, this is what we have to do to win. I guarantee you they've had that in their meetings and in their practices. That's been the point of emphasis. Slow this guy down.
This team really needs, you're going to laugh, but this team needs to play Biyombo or Plumlee more when he goes out. This team has no power forward in there. I know Luke Cornett's doing the best he can. I love Luke Cornett. I'm a big fan. But you need a physical presence. This team needs to go have a physical presence. And Mason Plumlee can hit somebody. And so can Biyombo. You got to get him in there and hit somebody once in a while. You got to have a protector. Just a physical presence. Because this guy is playing, right now, Victor, after he got thrown out, he was playing a good, 35, 36 minutes a clip, which is perfect. But they just don't really have a power forward right now. And it's where I don't want to move them on to another series because Minnesota has defied all gravity so far in these series. But if they move on to OKC, they might be able to give OKC a problem because OKC doesn't have that physical presence either. And Chet and this guy would be like just the future of basketball on Mars. Guys who can just fly around and be 7'2", 7'4", and be 190 pounds. It's crazy because OKC's one weakness is they don't have that either. But I still think that they need to go out in the offseason, which is not now, and definitely get a physical presence to help this guy because he needs a guy like Charles Oakley with him. He's just by himself out there, and they have 4 guards around him. All right, Vassal's a good player. Champagne's a good player.
And they're all young, too. That's the thing, too. None of them are veterans either.
And their veteran has disappointed me. De'Aaron Fox, who a couple of years ago could have been up for MVP as good as he was with the Kings, he's shooting 38% in the series. He's been very disappointing.
Yeah, he was 8 of 23 last night.
Yeah, whereas Dylan Harper is just a freak. I don't know how the hell this guy's this good at this age. It just makes me sick to my stomach.
Good bloodline there.
Steph Castle, I mean, yeah, but his dad didn't even score like that. Yeah. His dad was one of the best defenders you'll ever see in his life.
Yeah.
People don't forget, he comes in the league, and him and Danny Ferry are 1-2 in the draft, and Harper was a 20-point game scorer. And
he was before he got hurt, yeah.
Later in his career to win, he was a 20-point scorer, but Harper he's with that Bulls perimeter defensive team, which is probably the best perimeter defense you've ever seen in your life. Him, Scotty, and Mike at the 1-2 and the 3.
That's insane, right?
But that's layup defense basketball right there. They get I mean, just ridiculous what they could do to you defensively. But this kid is just flat out score. I mean, he is just so much. I mean, it goes to show you though why the Spurs are the Spurs. All
I
right,
mean, 8 of
Wembanyama.
11 last night, 24 points off the bench. I mean, when
Right,
he's yes, he's playing
Wembanyama,
like
an
that.
easy one pick, but Dylan Harper was not the consensus guy to be picked that high. And most people didn't have him. What did he go second in the draft last year?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, that was not the nobody else picks Harper second. I'm telling you right now. Last year, the Spurs are the Spurs because whoever's doing the picking is smart. And then they get Castle at 4. I mean, Jesus God. I mean, look at this team here. They got to keep this crew together here. And Champagne, I love too. We got to keep this crew together. And Keldon Johnson, I love. I mean, this is a nice team here. They got to go out and got to get a little more beef for this guy. I know the beef isn't in the future of the game, but when the shit gets crazy, you go get a Jared Allen, go get a guy like that who's like a traditional, a little thicker. I know he jumps and blocks shots, Jared Allen, but he's a traditional like bigger guy, or Mitchell Robinson, a guy like that. I mean, this team is really scary, and the T Wolves, you guys, the team. I mean, Anthony Edwards last night, you couldn't be any better than him last night. I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't know
Yeah,
how the hell he does it.
he was
He's playing
big
on
time.
half body.
Yeah.
And Jaden McDaniels might be the best bad player in basketball history. You watch him, you go, this guy sucks. And then you just watch him and you go, he's just good.
Well, he's got a streak of dirtbag in him.
Yeah,
He's
nothing
afraid
he
of,
does pretty. Nothing he does is that skilled. He's just a good player.
yeah, he's just good. Yeah. Yep.
And Julius Randle's the same way. They got the best ugly players of
You
all
know what
time.
Jaden McDaniels like? He's like their version of Tayshaun Prince on this team.
Yeah.
He's going to defend. He's going to hit big shots.
He's just Nas Reed. It's the same team all over the place. You got McDaniels, Randle, and Nas Reed, the ugliest freaking players in the history of basketball, but they're all good.
Right. And
They just
Randall's
make
and,
plays.
and Randall's a bull in a china shop as well,
And
offensively.
Terrence Shannon's coming into it a little bit before his shooting percentage is a little low, but he competes. They all play defense. Rudy's had his best playoff. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, this team is it's like a weird team to watch. It's like, and you watch the minute averages in these games here. This teams now are so committed to playing more guys, like 15 minutes or more a night. And that's what I'm saying. The depth of these teams is kind of crazy. And they believe in flying around and they're committed to it. Now, the Wolves are missing a couple of bodies, so their depth has been challenged. But, they're just, they're a really good team. Anthony Edwards is shooting 52% for the series, 41% from three. And let me tell you, when you got Castle covering you, that's no easy feat. This is one of the best 5 defenders in the NBA now. And he's scoring on Castle. And
Yeah.
Castle's a beast.
Yeah. I was shocked
This
that
series is amazing. I don't
it
know
is.
what
It's a
the hell.
great series. Game 5 is going to be absolutely must-see TV. That's going to be incredible. But I'm
It's
surprised.
ugly basketball, but you
Yeah.
can't turn the game off.
Yes. I'm surprised that when Wembanyama went out, that Olynyk, Biyombo, or Plumlee, he didn't play any of them, Mitch Johnson. He went small instead. He played Harrison
Yeah.
Barnes at power forward when he checked in, and he had Champagne playing a stretch four basically at small forward, but
Yeah.
playing power forward.
I would use Plumlee and Biyombo. I mean, I know Plumlee is very mobile. Biyombo is probably shot, but Kelly Olynyk can make a jump shot for you. He can still do that. Like I said, I love the big fellow Luke Cornett, but he gives you what he has. But at the same time, like this team is, they're not quite ready yet. They'll probably, if they get out of this round, they'd probably lose to OKC. But who the hell knows? Anthony Edwards got that look sometimes, but he don't want to go home.
Yeah, he's a special player for sure, athletically, and his shot making ability is incredible.
Yeah, here he is. He's getting his 7 boards. He's getting his 3 assists. He's doing like that subpar Jordan shit there, where he's like, if he gets like 2 or 3 more assists, he's got Jordan numbers. Because that's what Mike did. He would get, he'd find your way to, he'd get you, 30, 6 and like 6, And this guy right now is at 25, 7 and 3.
They broke his minutes restriction too last night. They had him on supposedly a 25 to 30-minute restriction. They went 40 because last night you have to win that game. Without Wembanyama, and if you go down 3-1, that's over then.
Yeah, I don't think I think Anthony and Coach have the old school relationship where they're allowed to like say fuck you to each other. I think like that's the old school way where he probably just told Coach, I'm not fucking listening to you. I'm playing 40
Chris
minutes.
Finch definitely has that streak in him. I mean, you had him and Tony Brothers going at it, a referee and a head coach.
Yeah,
a referee
I think it's
following
great.
coach.
I think it's great because that's the way guys used to be. Like Larry Bird would get in the huddle and tell Casey Jones, no. We're not running this play for Robert Parrish. I'm taking it right here. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. That level, it's okay to do that. Now, am I trusting a 10th grader in high school to do that? No.
Plus, you got an excellent mitigator in Pablo Prigioni on the bench as well,
Yeah,
so that helps.
And that level, I think it's a good thing. But Edwards and him, it seems like they go at each other, which I like. I respect that.
So game 5 we have tomorrow night between
Can't wait.
the Spurs and the
Can't wait.
Timberwolves, which is going to be
Just a
excellent.
great series. Just a bizarre series. One of the most bizarre series of my lifetime.
Right. Yeah. Well, now with the
Crazy. I
physicality
don't
and
even know. I
everything.
don't even know what to say. There's nothing to say about it. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. I don't even
No,
know.
it's absolutely fun.
There's no patterns. It's just weird.
Because Wembanyama, because right now also with they had on the NBA Prime the ex Wembanyama, they're like there's no playoff experience on this team besides De'Aaron Fox. Like this is everybody's
Yeah,
basically who's playing. It's like their first playoff, so it's incredible to see
yeah.
how well they're doing.
Fox has let them down a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game. They needed him to play better. And the crazy thing is, the Spurs actually had a chance to still win the game late.
Yeah, they
In
did
the
have a
last
chance to
minute
win
or
again.
two, they
Matter of
still
fact,
had
they
him in
should have.
striking distance.
They should have won the
I
freaking
mean, you
game.
had the play too with Desuma where the ball kicks off his leg, and otherwise that ball would have went sailing out of bounds, and the Spurs would have had it underneath their own basket with a
There
chance
was
to
a couple of
tie
close
the
calls,
game.
couple of tough ref decisions in the game, couple of things, but it was a good game. It's fun to watch.
We'll
Fun to
shift
watch.
over to the Thunder and the Lakers, Uncle Dave, and this is obviously a series where I was kind of disappointed in Game 3. I thought the Lakers at home, Game 3, that this is like their last chance, and they
This
weren't.
team's disappointing. This team's so disappointing. We called it though with this team during the season. They cannot guard.
Yeah,
They can't guard. LeBron's playing his ass off, but they just can't guard. He walks back 2 or 3 times a night now. LeBron, this series average again. It's a 20%. It's 20 point average a difference. It's like the Knicks series right now. It's just the games have
yeah.
been closer because the Lakers have had the lead in 2 of the 3 games at the half. I get it.
That's the thing. The Lakers have been in it at every half and every game, but then the second half, the Thunder just roll on them.
Well, Reeves has been a weird player. Like his numbers look good on the surface, but he has had a ton of turnovers. He's averaging 5 turnovers a game. And you know what? The amount of steals and they're just getting too many steals a game. They're getting out and running too many turnovers every night. I mean, if you look at the turnover stat, I mean it is way too high right now. I mean, if you look at the Lakes here, we got LeBron with 2.5, Reeves at 4.7. That's 7 and 5, 8, 8, 10. Yeah, they're averaging like 14 turnovers a game. And when you get out and run with OKC, boy, that's crazy. That's another level. OKC likes to get it and go. Caruso's a pain in the ass. I mean, he's tough. I mean, it's just that's the difference right now is the turnovers in this series.
Yeah, I think it also just the depth and the ability to defend is just in OKC's favor so much that they're just wearing on
Oh,
them.
yeah, 18.7 turnovers a game. And there's some subtle differences here. OKC again shooting 54%. How many of those are layups? 5 blocks. This is where Chet will never be the guy that gets enough credit in his career, and he might be all right with that. He'd be that special guy that is all right with that. But here he is, 60%. All right, 21 points a game, only playing 31 minutes. Now, if he was a prick, he would be one of those guys that would say, hey, I want mine, so I give him more numbers. This kid is just different, man. So here he is. He's getting his 10 boards. He's only getting 1 turnover. That's incredible for a kid who has the ball in his hands as much as him. He's almost getting 2 steals a game. For a big guy, I'm telling you, this is a guy that's going to be forgotten because he'll be the guy that, like, he'll just be the second best player on his team forever. And some nights he'll be third, and that's okay. And he'll go down as well. He'll be like Robert Parrish. We don't need, except he's totally playing Robert Parrish. But just an example, like McHale and Parrish were okay, never being Larry Bird. It was never about them. And this guy will, he's not going to be Shea, but this guy's a freak.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was second in defensive player of the year voting behind
Yeah,
Wembanyama.
he's,
So this is a
he's a
guy who
stud.
just he could do it all enough.
And here comes Pressey again, Jared McCain, Jesus Lord, and AJ Mitchell.
Yeah, game
What
two.
in the
Yeah,
hell is AJ Mitchell? You couldn't find him with a freaking roadmap. This guy went to Cal Santa Barbara
he wasn't
from
even in the
Cal.
rotation last year.
This son of a bitch wasn't even in the freaking league, basically. This guy, like, this is a typical. This is why I'm sorry, but like we've talked about GM and probably more than anybody wants to listen. But there's so many stark examples of good and bad GM in this year. And this guy, it's getting ridiculous. Jared McCann, I want to know what he got to get him. I think it was just cash.
He got
But this guy is a steal.
they got 3 future second round picks, and they traded. I think it was a first. They swapped, so that's what it was. But obviously for the Thunder, in your win now mentality, game 2, Jared McCain goes 7 of 11 with 18 points.
And I got a stat for you here. This is absurd. This is just the dumbest stat I've ever seen in my life. He's shooting 82% from 3 for the series. You realize that? Is that's not a misprint? 82%.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
he went 4 or 5 game 2.
That's absurd. That's for the series.
Yeah.
He's averaging 3.7 a series. He's playing 14 minutes.
Well, the thing is, it's
So,
going to get worse for everybody else because that's going to slowly bump up, I think, as time goes.
oh my God. And they're missing J Dub.
That's the thing. No Jalen Williams. Imagine when they get him back. Ugh.
Jesus Lord. I mean,
Yeah.
just it's absurd. It's almost like, and then Lou Dort, doesn't say a word, just plays hard.
The
Alex
thing is,
Caruso, 21
the,
minutes.
the reason I just respect it so much is because this is a team that's just slowly built it up the right way through culture and just have done it the right way through management and GMing and
Yeah,
coaching.
yeah, but you know what? Can we even say slow? This
Yeah.
this is like this is like year three on the scene for them.
Right. Right. Well, they
Key
started being
was
really, yeah, they started
they
being really good
sped
in
they
22.
sped it up with the freaking Paul George trade. That's how they sped this thing up. They had
Yeah.
all the draft picks. Then he went and went the big trade, and now they got another pick.
Yeah.
Who? What spot they picking in tonight? This year? They won. What lottery spot did they get yesterday? They're like 9 or something, or 8 or 7, something
12.
crazy like 12. That's
Well,
ridiculous. It's good players to number 20. They're gonna go shopping, and this guy's gonna get another stud.
what's scary is they have 12 and 17.
Yeah. So he'll go out. What he'll do is, again, you can talk all you want. Organizations are built from the top down and the bottom up on the players'
Well, the
foundation.
last dance we found that out too with Jerry Krause. You have to give him a
Yeah.
large part of the credit
Yeah.
for that.
Jerry Krause is annoying, but he's a great GM.
Right.
Coach was a steal. So
Right.
bottom line is like, you look at this team here. He'll find what they're going to do right now, and this is sad. This is why it's hard to repeat. They'll look at whose contracts are up, and they'll go replace them with these 12th and 17th picks. Like, I don't know who's up in here because Chet isn't, Shea isn't. You feel bad. Maybe a guy like AJ Mitchell. Maybe they don't have him much longer. Maybe they don't have McCain much longer. We don't know. Lou Dort might be up.
Caruso,
Isaiah,
I'm not sure about him either.
we're not sure with these guys. We'll do this in the offseason, but they'll go plug in. And at 12, oh my God, because somebody's going to screw up a pick, and there's going to be a gem sitting there at 12. There's going to be a kid like the kid from Michigan, Mara, just sitting there at
Plus,
12.
with their player evaluation, how elite it is, you know that they're going to be able to find someone there at those spots.
Yeah, Mara at 7'3" and mobile is going to be sitting there.
Plus, you could trade them. Let's say someone wants to give you a good veteran, you could do that. So you have plenty to play with.
But this is not being talked about enough. Like, I'm sorry, like, again, we're not into GMs, but what this guy has done is filthy.
Yeah.
Filthy.
He's going to go down as a Hall of Fame GM because don't forget the Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook era. He was great with that.
And the only thing I didn't like about that is I thought he should have found a way to keep those three together. I know it was hard, and maybe they gave him an ultimatum and behind closed doors. But one day we'll find out. But he got all three of those guys.
Yeah, and Ibaka.
So, like, you're sitting there saying to yourself, this guy, it's not being talked about enough. It's just not. Like, it's like he's playing chess and everybody else isn't even playing checkers. They're not even playing
That's
checkers.
true.
They don't even have a checkers board. These other guys. He don't even have a board. The checkers board, the chess board's the same as you know. They don't even have a board. This guy's like, he's like operating on some other level. It's like it's insanity. So between him and like what the Pacers did, all the Pacers did screw up the draft with the bad lottery ball yesterday. But this guy's, I mean, AJ Mitchell, that's like absurd.
Yeah, the color commentators were even saying yesterday that that's just a testament to Sam Presti.
And he has a coach that obviously shares his vision because this guy just plugs in somebody.
Right.
He just plugs him in. It's ridiculous. He just plugs another guy in. Here we go.
And this is the thing too with them, they're able to harness the fire properly because you've talked about maybe being too deep sometimes could be a problem, but
it's hard. It's hard to coach that many guys.
It is, but
and Mike Brown is doing it well too. It's hard to have 10 or 11 guys.
It's just things like they got Isaiah Hartenstein, who's just really fits seamlessly in there. Alex Caruso. Perfect. Yeah, it's just a perfect marriage all the way around. Every guy they bring in there.
But that's why it's so important, though, that you get guys who, I don't want to slight anybody, they're NBA players. Maybe guys who are always going to have to stay sharp to stay in the league.
It's true.
And so you go get a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein or a guy like Alex Caruso, who are both studs in my book, but are not guys that if you're at the park in the NBA,
they're not going to be an all-star. Yeah,
exactly. But he gets those guys, and that's what Indiana started to do, and that's what the Knicks have. Like you go, Jose Alvarado. How the hell will the Pelicans ever let go of Jose Alvarado? He's exactly what the Pelicans don't have, balls. And you let him walk because you don't value what he brings. Alex Caruso won a championship with the freaking Lakers. They don't have what he is.
Yeah,
If you had him and freaking Smart, you're even better than you were. But Jesus, like, you let go a guy who is the epitome of what you need. Now, is he a guy that you want to pencil in for 40 minutes a night? Absolutely not. But he's a guy that can help you win a game. It's ridiculous.
sure is.
Teams don't look at, and it drives you insane. And I hate to say this when I watch the summer league all the time, I'm the only idiot who watches the summer league. There's hundreds of guys out here like this, and the NBA keeps passing these guys over. And it really is a little bit of luck for these guys to have successful careers because they get picked and they just realize I better work my ass off. And you watch it every year. The kid Dunn from Virginia couldn't score a basketball, played 20 minutes a night for the Phoenix Suns. Kid can't score in the gym by himself. But what he does is he defends, and he's 6'10", and he's athletic. So he knows he has to work at it. And what did Phoenix do? They made a great pick. Like, there's tons of these guys out there. A.J. Mitchell's the steal of the century. What is that? It's like the Tony Parker theft. I mean, what is that? He's not going to be as good as Tony Parker, but it's just a Kason Wallace. 52% from the floor, 25 minutes a night. Ridiculous.
Well, I think it's with anything, right? GMs, some guys have just better eyes for talent, and some guys put in more work. Maybe it's got to be
evaluating talent. Evaluating talent is an art form, and you can watch. Some guys can watch forever, and they just don't see it. Like you would just see it on the recruiting trail. You go recruit, and everybody be sitting there sharing who they like. You never tell anybody who you like. Oh, it's a little anti-social. I don't give a shit. I'm not telling you why. Everybody always like the same people. It's like the fifth grade, all the fifth grade girls like the same boy that 1 year. That's the problem. Everybody likes the same guy. It's not about that. It's about who you like, and do you have a vision for him, and you have to communicate with your coach. So obviously the coaching staff and Presti, because he's the boss, obviously got a guy and said, listen, this is the way I want it. And obviously this guy said, okay. Yes, that's the way I want it. So because now you look, the Nuggets went out and they got all these good pieces on paper. I'll be the first one to tell you I thought they had enough. Obviously, it didn't fit. It's just ridiculous, like, how these GMs are, some of these guys are just, they're going out and finding the best talent. So that's where we're at. And they're finding guys like the Grizzly hat, by the way, the old Vancouver Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. Back in the day.
Vancouver and Memphis. They should never got rid of this logo. It was the best.
Abdul Rahim. Oh, my goodness. He was the player.
Big country.
Oh, big country, Abdul Rahim. Oh, my goodness. They had some players.
They sure did.
Some players.
So as far as the Lakers go, Uncle Dave, what do you think their course of action should be? Obviously, it all depends on what LeBron's mindset is and what he wants to do, right?
Well, I think LeBron's going to wind up with Golden State or somebody like that. He's going to go have a swan song. But LeBron's still producing. The bad news is he can't guard it. It's at least once or twice a game now. He walks back on defense, and but you just to me, like, if you're going to be doing that, you got to yank him out. But Redick's done a good job. He's grown a lot as a coach. I got to give him credit. I just think that they're missing so much athleticism on the perimeter. I will say this though: Rudy Hachimura has really stepped up to let them know that he's a player going forward. I think they could get more out of Jackson Hayes. I'm disappointed that Vanderbilt has never gotten better. Luke Kennard, I don't know what his deal is as far as the money-wise. Reeves has been disappointing in the series, but he is playing hurt. Marcus Smart, he's one of my favorite players. DeAndre Ayton, there's pieces there. I would say, you're going to laugh, but I would see if I could go get something for Reeves, and I would try to get more athletic in that trade. I love Reeves, but him and Luka together is just the same problem twice.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I love Reeves. But see if you could package Reeves for one of these top picks and see if you could get an athletic guy in the wing who's going to play defense. You need like a bigger version of Edgecombe. Go out and get a kid like you're not going to get Acuff from Arkansas, but they also have the kid Williams from Arkansas who's very athletic. He's about 6'9". There's a bunch of guys in this draft who are about that size. Go get one of those guys because you're not going to get rid of Luka. So you get rid of Reeves. You save that money there. You give Reeves to somebody who thinks they're maybe a little closer, but the Lakers are not far off. But in the West, what does far off mean? Being the 6th seed, being the 5 seed? I mean, you obviously got to go get more athletic on the wing because Reeves and Luka aren't going to cover.
The Lakers can go one of two ways. They can either say, look, we're going to try to get as much depth and free agents as possible to try to add to what we already have, Or you could have a situation where LeBron goes and you have Luka Doncic. You basically have a situation where they do what the Nuggets did, and you say, "All right, everybody besides Luka Doncic, it's up for trade right now," and you try to
Right.
just maybe blow the whole thing up.
Right. I like DeAndre Ayton. Though. He's had a good playoff. This has been a good revival of him. He's getting 9 boards. I know he's only shooting 39%. His offensive game was not great. His blocks, he needs to get a little more, but he's had a little bit of a revival here. He's not been terrible. Like I said, Jackson Hayes is long and athletic. You got to get something out of these guys. This is where player development is something that really doesn't get focused on enough. I mean, hold on to Kennard if you can. Marcus Smart, obviously, you got to hold on to, but you can't have Reeves and Luka there together. You got to do something else because if they're both athletic, you could do it, but they're both slow of foot on defense. You're not going to get rid of Luka. So I would just try to get someone in that mold of like that 6'8" to 6'10" long, 3 or 4 man. Try to do something of that nature. I don't know who's the free agent. I got to look at the free agent list for the summer, but yeah, the Lakers are obviously in a win now mode because Luka's not a puppy anymore. He isn't old, but he's not young. He's in the middle, so he's in his prime probably. So I would go make a move now and see if I can get a little younger, get a little more athletic, and see what I could do with
So
that.
much of it all comes down to LeBron James on the team. That's
Sure.
obviously that
Sure. I mean,
changes.
he's still shooting 52%, still playing 38 minutes. His turnovers are a little bit of concern. The defense is the big problem we talked about. If you could play him at the 4, I think that would solve a big problem for you.
But like you
But it's
said, you can't have Doncic, Reeves, and him on the floor. Three guys that
right,
are not good elite defenders can't happen.
right. But if you play LeBron at the 4, I think you could get away with this. Maybe move Rudy into the starting lineup. Have Rudy, LeBron, Luka, Marcus Smart, and we got Luka, Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, LeBron, and Hachimura. I think you could do it with that lineup. But does LeBron want to do that? Still, you got to go get younger. Get a lot for Reeves. See what you can get. I know he's a good player, and you hate to let him go. I'm not saying he's not a good
He's
player.
probably got the most trade value, obviously, outside of Luka Doncic.
Yeah, his contract isn't going to kill you like Luka's is. Go get something for this guy. Go get more athletic, and let's do it. Maybe go get 2 guys for that salary. See what you could do. To me, I know these guys don't grow on trees, but like you got to go get that athletic wing. Like look at what the Knicks have on their wing right now between Hart and OG. Now I know they're not going to be available guys, but
And
or
Bridges
even
can
what
defend too.
or even what the Pacers have in the backcourt. Besides Halliburton with the 2 and the 3 defending. I mean, they have guys that can defend, guys that can make an occasional shot. I mean, you need some of those guys. And that's what the Celtics lacked this year. The Celtics just got so unathletic on that wing, and they paid for it.
Yeah, that's
Tatum was hurt, and Brown's great, but you need 3 or 4 other guys who can stop somebody. I mean, I loved what the Celtics did on the perimeter shooting the ball, but you got to have guys that can get a stop and keep a guy in front.
We'll switch over to the Cavaliers and the Pistons now. And
Fascinating series.
yeah, this
Fascinating.
yep. And I think what's really stood out with the Pistons' success is just Tobias Harris is just playing incredible, like
Best
consistently. And
basketball of his life.
yeah, he's playing elite level and he's playing consistently now through this whole playoffs.
He's done a great job, and right now the only thing that Cavs for shock with the Cavs is the backboard. They're getting beat on the backboard by 6 a game. Mobley had a game with 1 rebound. And again, I love Mobley. I've said it on this program, but I have to say his offensive game is not developed enough yet. And if it had, this wouldn't even be a series. This team with this lineup, but Mobley right now, he has all the abilities. It might be one of those situations where it was like with Towns, like he just doesn't know how to play because not saying he doesn't know how to play basketball, but where do you put him? Because obviously Allen needs to be close to the basket, but Mobley and Towns is obviously a much better shooter than Mobley. But maybe Mobley has some of the same struggles with how do I fit in? How do I play? Because this kid, he's definitely one of the 10 most talented players in the league. He's not one of the 10 best players in the league, and there lies the problem. The shooting
You would
percentage is 48%, 45% for Detroit. From 3, the Cavs are only shooting 32%. That's what a series is a big difference right now. But this thing could change. Because to me, I'm scared if I'm Detroit only because I don't think the Cavs have played well, and they stole a game.
James Harden hasn't really had a good game yet. He had the last game, he had 3 big buckets in the last couple minutes, but other than that, before then, he wasn't a huge factor in that game either.
Yeah, I mean, Jaron Allen averaging 4.7 rebounds and 14 points, but he's getting his blocks. But Mobley, 2.3 blocks a game, but only 6 boards in the series. A little strange. Got to get off that rebound more. Harden shooting 40% using the usual James disappearance act, a little down. He's shooting 22% from three. You could definitely see Harden's lost something getting to the basket now. If you remember in the old days, a couple of years ago, Harden
Yeah,
got to the
that
basket.
burst. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Max Strus has been spotty. He's been good, but spotty. They got to use Schroeder more. They fell in love with Dean Wade and Sam Merrill. I get it, but I know you like Dean Wade, but Dennis Schroeder needs to play more. He just has to have more minutes. He just does. Dennis Schroeder has been a professional pain in the ass for years. He's a guy that can definitely get in your skin. He can also handle the ball. So when you take out Harden, you can get Dennis in there and get Max Strus some more shots. Let Dennis create for him. So again, this team lacks a lot of defense because of who they have on the floor. Harden, I know, we've never been a great defender. Spider's an undersized too. And Dean Wade is not a great defender himself. So you got a problem on the defensive end. The good news is Allen and Mobley can cover up a lot of that inside. So we got to see. But this series has been very strange. I don't feel like, Spider's getting 30 a game. I don't feel like he's impacted the series as much as I thought he would. He's taking 9 threes a night, shooting 30%. I think he needs to get to the rack more. I really do.
Yeah, and become more of a playmaker maybe on those instead.
Yeah, get Strus some shots because Spider's capable of bringing that ball up. I mean, he wants to win. That's the thing I love about Spider. He's shown that he wants to
Oh,
win.
he's playing hard for sure. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
definitely leaving it all out there.
but Harden is clearly not Harden. So the thing is, you got to
Harden
spot
right
Harden.
now, I think he just kind of looks out of place and it's just randomly just picking his spots to go one on one. But as far as being in the flow of the offense, he's not at all.
And that's where you understand the trade with Garland, but at the same time, you needed a guy who can get you another
Yeah,
bucket. But now,
Darius Garland can play off the ball better though. That's the
yeah,
thing.
and Garland could defend too. So now you got this guy out here who's a little older, not in shape. It's
And when he
just
doesn't
weird.
have the ball, he's just standing in the corner. So that's kind of
Which might not be a bad thing for him in some respects, but he's not shooting well from three. He's shooting 22% from three. And that's what his series has been different. Spider's shooting 29% from three, and Harden's shooting 22, and Max Strus is only shooting 33.
right.
So if Cleveland could ever find their shot. Now, Detroit's defense, they got some great live bodies. I mean, Asar Thompson is a very good defender. He's one of those guys I'm talking about for the Lakers. You need to go find a guy like Houston has a couple of these guys. They need to go get one of these guys from Houston. But they have some guys that can defend out there. And Karis LeVert is not playing a lot of minutes. So really it's been Denise Jenkins has been very, very good in the series. He's not shooting well, but he's given him a ton of good minutes. Duran has stepped up better this series. He's been good. So they got to get something out. Duncan Robinson has played pretty well. He's shooting 54%, but only 33% from the
Paul Reed had a really good game for them last game.
50% from three. Yeah, Paul Reed was excellent. So this is a series where I just feel like they still have to rely on Cade so much, which I get. This could be one of those teams, though, where Cade's going to be one of these guys that maybe could get a team to the finals without that other great player.
Well, we've seen it done before. It's happened.
Yeah, and Tobias has been that other guy. And Tobias is posting up because if you look at the matchups, the Cavs have no one to cover Tobias because Tobias can probably take Mobley off the dribble, so he's too big. But when you put Spider or Harden on him, he takes him to the post.
Tobias is able to play offense well enough in every area. He's a good enough catch and shoot guy. He's able to have a pull-up game. He can post up a little bit. He's able to do it all enough well. And
but really, you know what I'm happy about? And you got to give Coach Bickerstaff credit. I've never seen Tobias post up this much. So I know we just talked about the matchup problem, but it shows you, though, that sometimes coaching is a big difference. And so Coach Bickerstaff has gotten him to post up. I really respect that because this guy has been 6'9" his whole life. I mean, why haven't we posted him up
why
before?
hasn't he been right? Yeah.
Why haven't the Sixers posted him up? You know what? Right. He's got a great touch for a 6'9" guy. His fadeaway is good. I mean, his one dribble across the lane, step back is good.
I think also maybe why the Sixers didn't do it, get Embiid in the lane too at that time, so that might have infected.
Yeah, I mean, but this guy when Embiid's out, though, you can always use a guy who can post up. There's not many guys who post up anymore. So we used to go back to saying how much we love Zebo. Zebo could always post up.
Oh yeah,
you could just run shit
reverse
through him.
Pivot. Yeah, just speed in deadly.
Yeah, just run shit from him, or the big stud from the Blazers. Who was the other stud the Blazers had for years?
Marcus Aldridge.
Yeah, just a guy who could get you a bucket. Sometimes you need to just say, all right, the game's getting out of hand, throw it in there. You can't replace those guys. And this guy is doing the same thing. But where the hell has this been for 10 years?
I agree with you.
He got out of college in '09, for Christ's sake. What the
It's
hell are we doing?
euphoric, but it's also frustrating maybe at the same time too, right?
Yeah, because someone might have, not used this guy right. So Isaiah Stewart's been pretty good. I'd like to see him play some more minutes.
Well, he's just a big physical body that's going to come in here and
I
just
love
pick
him
up
because you
furniture.
need that. Like you
Yep.
need he's what I'm talking about
He's got a
for these
screw
other
loose for sure
teams. Isaiah Stewart is the guy that I'm talking about for
for the
OKC
Lakers. For the Lakers
or
too.
OKC. Go get a beast to hit somebody,
Right.
you know. But fun series, a lot of fun tonight.
Yes, absolutely. So this is one that obviously the NBA is definitely glad that that got pushed to
Oh, I'm looking forward to
a
this tonight.
meaningful fourth game here because otherwise you would have two games tonight that were both 3-0. So the NBA doesn't want that.
It's
They
been
don't want
great
that
though.
one for
Oh, it's
sure.
been a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this game tonight. I think it's 8 o'clock tonight.
The NBA draft order now. Let's go
Oh
switch over to that as
yeah.
something to talk about here now because the current draft order as it stands right now, and this is interesting. Now this could really mean we have some meaningful gossip going around on the draft on draft night or leading up to it because
Oh, we're gonna get a lot of, we should get trades.
the Wizards have said that they're willing to trade that pick away because right now they have Trae Young and Anthony Davis on the roster. So what they're planning on doing potentially is here, let's say the Wizards are willing to trade with the Jazz. You give me the number one pick, and I'll give you Ace Bailey and my pick. So the Wizards might be able to double dip here. They might be able to get a guy who's a
And
lot
get
of
the second
talent
pick.
and get the second pick still. And that would be incredible, I think, if they're able to pull that off.
Yeah, but I think if Utah's that hungry for, and I tell you what, I've never seen the players hang out at the draft lottery as much, but there was some really bad faces last night. These
Well, the
guys did
band
not
still
look.
looked like his dog died right in front of him
Yeah,
before.
he did not look like he wanted to go to Washington. I don't blame him.
Right.
But I tell you what, that is a good play, and Utah might have enough to be able to afford to get rid of Bailey because they got a bunch of players. I mean, if I was Utah, I'd do that.
Well, me and Connor were talking about it yesterday. You have Marketing, Jaren Jackson,
Jaron
Cavante
Jackson's
George.
the best players in the league.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
it's just incredible. So what they really need is some guard play because their forwards are incredible right now. And you have Will
yeah, but
Kessler coming back next year.
they're in love with Devonta though.
They
You know,
want him bad. They want him
I
bad.
mean,
Yes.
you do have Clayton. Clayton's playing point, but yeah, you could maybe win with Devonta playing some too. I'm sure you could.
Walter Clayton, Uncle Dave, went to Grizzlies. He's on the Grizzlies now.
That's right. He went to the Grizzlies. Wait a second. Who's playing point guard for the Jazz then? My bad.
Cavante George.
That's right. Devontae George is playing point guard. That's right. Right. That's right. It's right. They traded Walter Clayton. I wouldn't have given him away, but I get it because you got back a stud.
Right.
My goodness. He's a stud.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Jaren Jackson on the front line with Laurie Marketing next year. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. But Devontae could play a little point, though. He's good enough. I mean, oh, man. You can't take Darius Akoff with that pick, could you?
I mean,
Oh,
if
my
you love
goodness.
him enough, right? But the thing is, with
Yeah.
the mock drafts, I'm seeing that they have, if let's say DeBansta went to the Wizards, that the Jazz would take Darren Peterson, number two.
Yeah. Who the hell is Memphis going to take?
So the funny
That's
thing is also, Uncle Dave, Carlos Boozer just got hired as a Jazz scout. So obviously, I don't think they would take Boozer at number two, the Jazz, especially with the front line they have. So it's just funny.
yeah.
People are saying they'll have to determine is his son worthy of being the second pick overall.
No, but you know what? I mean, to tell you what, he'd be a good fit in DC. I'll tell you that.
It's going to be really fascinating to see what happens with this now because the Jazz really, because he went to BYU. So, I mean, the ties are there for Devanster right now to be a fan favorite.
Yeah, to me, the wild card here is what the hell are the Grizzlies doing? They need so much. I don't even know what the hell they're doing.
Well, what the hell's going on with John Moran? Are they going to shop
Exactly.
him?
You can't rely on anything with this kid. So, like, what do? You're screwed. That's like the worst job in America. You couldn't pay me enough to be the GM of the freaking Grizzlies. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with that. They're really in a peculiar spot right there with him. But
yeah.
right now, mock drafts have the Grizzlies taking Cameron Boozer at 3.
Oh, Jesus. I hope he doesn't have to go to Memphis. But, yeah, I get it. The
And then
Bulls.
the Bulls at 4. I mean, if that's the case, then Caleb Wilson would be going to the Bulls.
Yeah. I tell you what, though. Acuff's a stud.
A lot of people have Keaton Wagler as the first point guard taken off the board.
Oof. I don't know. Acuff's a different person. He's a different dude. I know Wagler's 4 inches, it's about 2 or 3 inches bigger, but
Well, that's
I don't
the
know,
reason
dude.
that he might go probably before Akoff. But
Not a normal human being, I'm telling you. You know what? The Nets might benefit. It might fall to him.
well, that's the thing. In this draft that I'm watching for CBS Sports, Darius Akoff, number 6 pick, going to the Brooklyn Nets.
Boy,
And
that's a
I'm in
steal.
Brooklyn. That would be a great fit, honestly. I know
Let's say I'm going to Brooklyn Net games.
the cupboard is bared right now, but him and Michael Porter, you might have some fun there next year.
Tell you, if he goes to Brooklyn, I'm getting on the train. I'm going.
Yeah, that'd be great, right? I'd rather
I'm
have
getting,
him go to the Nets than the Kings.
yeah, I'm getting an A-cuff jersey. If that happens.
Yeah, I'd rather have
They
Darius
didn't
Acuff.
fix the lotto for my Mavericks. I was wrong. I thought they were going to fix it for my man Cooper
You
Flag.
can't do it two, 2 years in a row.
Why not? They did it for the Magic.
That'd be brutal. So they who have who would be going in this, according to CBS Sports at 9, would be Braden Burries to the Mavericks at 9.
No, I don't want that. No, 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 no,
So
no,
you
no.
have to. It's Mikael Brown, Kingston Fleming.
Mikael Brown's always hurt. Kingston Fleming's is overrated. Nope, 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 nope. I don't want that.
Nate Ammett wouldn't be a good fit because he's playing the power forward spot.
They do need a guard, though. They do need a guard because and that's the problem. Acuff will be gone.
Maybe they trade up a little bit for Darius Acuff if you're the Mavericks.
Oh yeah, because they got Gabbard, they got Lively, they got Washington, and they got Cooper Flag, and they got Kyrie. You need another guard. You got to go get a guard. So we got to trade up and get Acuff.
Yeah, I think it depends how much they love him. Obviously, they're going to work him out, so they're going to have to determine that.
Yeah. Although there are some other good guards. Wagler might go fall too. You never know. This is crazy. This is a crazy time. It's going to be great. If the NBA would just solve this goddamn regular season blows problem, they got so much good stories right now, so much talent in the league that they're killing the golden goose right now. This could be the 80s all over again with the generational talent out there.
Well, the depth I think you're going to have next year in the league is going to be insane, I think.
You're
You're going to have no teams that are going to be like a bad team.
Yeah, they're all teams that you'd want to watch, but you got to solve this problem here. This is outrageous.
Just want to mention this, Uncle Dave, before we talk about the draft further. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the 6th reigning champ to then start the following postseason 7-0. The other teams that have done that, the Minneapolis Lakers in 1950.
I didn't see them. I'm that old. I'm not that old.
The Los Angeles Lakers in 1989, they started 11-0.
This one pains me. There's some old wounds there. You know, they would have won 3 in a row if Magic doesn't get hurt. I don't care what the Pistons tell you. That's bullshit.
Obviously, that Laker team was a dominant team, 11-0.
Yes, they were. We're up in game 2, and Magic pulls the hamstring, and Byron Scott hurts a hamstring because Pat Riley has to have a 4-hour practice for his ego.
So, I mean, that could be really special. The Lakers could have had 3 in a row that year, yeah.
Don't get me started with that. Jesus Christ.
1993 Bulls went 7-0 that following year.
Yes,
the 2001 Lakers won 11-0 to start.
Yeah, well, that was yeah.
I mean, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. That's going to happen. Yeah, 2017 Cavaliers 10-0.
That's right.
And then the Oklahoma City Thunder this year 7-0 to start. The Thunder win this year. I definitely have no problem saying they're one of the best teams all time for sure.
Me too, because I'll say this, because of their depth. That's the deepest team I've ever seen.
Yep,
that's the deepest team I've seen.
You have a true
85 Lakers were the most deep team I'd ever seen with quality. This team is numbers-wise deeper than they are. With quality, I'm not sure, but deeper, yes.
Yeah, so it's just obviously an incredible testament to just their ability, their athleticism, their depth, the head coach, the GM. It's just all
selfishness.
It's just all right now looking fantastic, and the future is extremely bright with them. Obviously, too, you have the culture there where you maybe have guys who take a little bit of a haircut, maybe to stick around because you're on such a.
I hope they stay healthy. We don't need a Shea ankle here.
You just have such a great culture, so you might have that.
We don't need Shea to lose an ankle.
Just have to also talk about Victor Wembanyama, the rare air he's in right now. He's the 4th player all time to have at least 35 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks in a game. The other 3 guys, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that just shows you what company he's in with that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's I think the hard part for what to do with him is where to put him on offense. I really, it's not
anywhere.
that easy.
You can do anything with him.
But everybody thinks it's easy to coach that. It's not.
No, it's not. No.
Because you have to be creative. This is not the normal human. So, like, you can have a 7-4 guy hanging around the 3-point line. Like, sometimes you have to.
Depends what the matchup is, right?
Jesus Christ. I mean, like, it's a pain in the ass. It's not easy to coach him. It's really not. Not because it's him. It's not his fault.
Plus, Mitch Johnson, he's got it really challenging because not only is it so unique, but he's also a young coach on top of that. So you have
Johnson looks like he hasn't even shaved yet.
Yeah, well, the
The
one good
bottom
thing
line
is
is
you have
like
someone like Greg Popovich hanging around still, so you may be able
yeah,
to pick his
good
brain on it.
news is you do have to rely on the matchup, but the problem is right now the problem is you're playing a T Wolf. So if he pops out, the Wolves have enough defenders to defend him. The Wolves are the longest team around. It's so long. They're like the Spurs. They're very long. So like they can take him out. But if you let him hang around the basket, go Bears. Go Bears, a Hall of Fame level defender.
They used to be even more ridiculous when they had Towns and Gobert. I mean, that used to be insane what they used to have out there, the Timberwolves. You used
Yeah.
to have Nas Reed out there with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah. They're crazy long. They're crazy long, this team. They really are. Fun to watch. They could just get a damn guard.
Live long and prosper. May the force be with you.